Hello, guys. I think we are live already, so I will show you what I am playing with today. And I'm still working on photographing samples of rollers in clay because everybody keeps asking me for it, so I'm trying to get to it all. But yeah, so this is going to be the Swirly collection in the Mokumegane stamping style rollers. And then these are the Mandala ones. So these are all debossing, swirly embossing, and mandala embossing. So, yep, so that's what we're playing with today. So I'm going to try to run through and just get samples on all of these. Yeah, looks like we are straining. Okay. Actually, I'm going to double check. What do we need you? We need rollers. We need the water bottle. Spray everything. We need some paper towels to mop up all the extra water from spraying everything. As I've mentioned a few times, I typically work on. Oh, yep, it looks like we are live. Sweet. Okay, just checking. So I typically work in metallic Sculpey Primo. Their metallic clays tend to have are the least sticky. They tend to be a little grittier, a little harder, so they work really well for testing because they are almost very difficult to get stuck into the rollers. I'm not saying they won't ever do it, but it's pretty decent. And I like my little handles. They're not necessary, but they do make it a little easier to put a little outward pressure. And then when the rollers are this small, it just kind of helps because you are two-handing it anyway, so it helps give a little spot for the pinky. Always use something to as a release agent. I find water works just fine. Spray them real good, get it in all the creases and crevices. This one's actually not got very many crevices, no hard crevices, so it'd be pretty easy to clean even if you do get a mess. And then I am going to, so these are roughly square, and I'm going to go ahead and start on the outside edge. And even though this does repeat, I want the main elements of that to all get into there. There we go. So could have started just a little earlier because as we're pressing in, it pushes the clay that way, so I get a little more length than I started with, but that is an adequate representation. And even though it is repetitive and the repetition, the point at which it repeats itself is still a pretty image, I'm still going to go ahead and just try to square this up a little bit so it looks nice and neat. The pictures. And the hardest part is always developing the consistency of pressure, your left to right. So I might have been a little heavier on the right than the left, but maybe not because there is some differences on the roller too, and where it pressurizes and doesn't. So hard to say, but there we go. So this one is geometric flower, and it is definitely one of the really good ones. And this was debossing. So this is the what it does for debossing. So it gives you lots of places to pool and catch colors and inks. So I know a lot of the potters like to use the debossing because it gives them places for their uh, glazes to pool when they're colorizing. So this one's really kind of neat. And I'm going to take a moment and try to photograph all of these because that is the point of this game. Let's get pictures of everything. So that has been photographed, and on to the next. Pretty much I'm not working on any project in particular today. I'm just going to run through and process all of these out real quick so you guys can hang with me and watch that if you like. Burn this down. Next roller. And I will probably chatter about something as I'm going. I actually do have a playing around with one of those swirly rollers. So I'll pull that out once I get that roller out. All right, so I can start this a little bit earlier. So there's my halfway point. It's right there. So I'm going to start a little early. Oops, I need to be on the side of it. Start a little early at the halfway point. And if I back roll a touch, it helps get that without starting at the absolute edge because that can be a little bit of trouble too. And yep, that worked perfect. And I actually did run out of clay a little bit, so I still can get my timing a little bit better. And so this is embossing. So that's what that looks like embossed. And it's epic. Like that's just pretty. So now I like embossing for like polymer clay users, or yeah, if we're using mica powders. You could dust the top edge of this with mica powders, or you could brush in areas, or whatever you want to do to highlight certain parts and pieces. But man, that's pretty. All right, photograph. Actually, I should try to square it up a little because it just looks better in pictures. Yeah, probably a bunch of crafters out there online right now, and you know how it is. All the photographing. I'm so annoyed right now because I'm a little bit hung up on getting anything new going because I'm trying to. Sorry, my camera is in the way of the other camera. Um, trying to catch up on all the stuff I already have posted that I posted without getting sample pictures, and now I've got tons of sample pictures to take, and it's going to take a while. And, oh, I don't know if any of you were watching the other day, but that's the piece I made with the samples from the tribal stuff. Whereas that's not sitting here. I have them in tall sitting around. There's always something sitting around. So that's this set of rollers. So, and again, like I said last stream, I started doing a small double tall option. Well, actually, I started doing a double tall option. These are actually tiny double tall. So these are more narrow. I don't have those. I do have those. No, I don't. I do have those sitting right here. Oh, okay, so this is that same one in tiny double tall. There we go. I will be doing samples of that later, but so that would be centered. So this in small double tall will be exactly this, just with top and bottom. And on this one, I centered the main image, so you just get more top and bottom. So like potters, especially like to have them bigger. And a handful of times when I'm working on stuff, I feel like they're just a little short. Like if I want to do a big veneer, like I can either go really, 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 really long, or if I want to be able to roll it a little taller, then I can just grab something out of the double talls. And the tiny double tall scales everything down just a touch. So they're not as deep, the images aren't quite as big. So in some of these things, if I want my details to get real fine and refined and little like that, so if I'm doing tiny beads, and I'm only filling up that much of the roller. If I did this on a small or an XL, I would only get like that much of the pattern, where on this, I might get that much of the pattern on the bead. So I can use like segments of this a little bit more. So that's why tiny double tall is becoming an option. They will only be available in sets, I think, because then it's just, I can't put too many options on Etsy. Etsy gets lost. I may make them available individually on the website. I haven't decided yet because, again, you put too many options and things just get confusing. But okay, I need to go that way. I need to start just ahead of that. So they're a little further out, so they don't lay lines into what I'm doing. Deep. So this one is also debossing. There we go. That time I got it lined up properly. A couple little water bubbles in it. So right on the midst of that line, in the midst of that line, and take off a little bit of extra top and bottom. That's way. That one's really pretty too. Yeah, I like all these geometric-y kind of shapes. The geometric stuff is fun. Picture of it. Can't forget that. Picture came out good. And food's done. Eek. I'm going to go around and pull that out of the oven real quick. So, and to look at while I'm not here, those are what's coming up next. This is all my floral mukumegani stuff. So peek at those. I'll be right back. Okay. Yeah, so this is going to be the next couple sets I'll be working on getting samples of. All right, so I did debossing in that one. Next one is embossing, and I forgot to push the button on the mic or on the oven or the timer. Oh well, it's just gonna yell in the background for a while. Hopefully my man will notice it and push the button a little bit. Okay, burnish down, a little spritz. I need to spray the knife. Same thing, we want to be just on the other side of the halfway mark. Oops. Oh, nope. I might have to Nah, I can get away with not redoing that one. That's good enough. So I got a little double image there, but not bad enough. So I say this all the time, but I try very hard to start just inside the clay and don't roll from all the way on the outside edge and onto it, because that often will cause a problem where the clay wants to stay with the roller. If you start from the outside edge, so if you start from the middle, it doesn't stay with the roller as bad. Okay, photograph. So this is embossing on that same one. My camera worked out. Cell phone technology has gotten so ridiculous anymore. It's like back in the day, everything was done with the DSLR, and I got really good with the DSLR. And now it's just not worth the effort of pulling it out and relearning everything again. The silly camera phones take good enough pictures. They accomplish a lot. All right, so next is, so this was geometric mandala. This one's geometric flower. So in case you guys want the names, this one is lotus. This is super pretty. I love this one. It's actually pretty darn good for Makumegane too, because it's got some decent space between the details. The info is not overly crowded, so it does work pretty darn good. So the collection I'm working on right now is all stuff that was essentially made with Makumegane in mind. I want to make that sort of the starter. So this is debossing. And that's kind of the halfway point. So like I said, this one will roll forever and ever and ever, and you won't ever notice where the pattern stops and starts. So I'm just going to call it as the center of that. Pretty wet still. And then for whatever reason, it's orange clay from the other day. So there is a tiny little speck of clay that got hung up in there. So I sell the needles, nozzle cleaning needles, or what they're called on Amazon. So you can buy a whole pack of them on Amazon, or you can get them individually when you buy a roller from me. The handle set, I always include these, and they're so nice and little, and they just help you lift that right up. So that's all better. And then I like to put a little clay handle on them just because it makes it easier to find, first of all, and secondarily, manipulate. Makes it a little easier to use. So, photograph, zoom in, get a picture, and on to the next. So this is the debossing version, which, to be honest, that comes out relatively embossed looking. This would be a neat one too. It'd be a neat one to do a matching cutter for the center piece on it. I think that would be really pretty. Okay, so that's debossing. Let's go with embossing. So to be honest, embossing and debossing is just a guess. This one, the actual lotus itself, even though by looking at the roller, it looks like it's embossing, to be honest, the image itself is almost debossing there. So may have to look at that and debate if no, I'm not going to change them. That looks just right. Apparently I didn't get that burnished onto the tile. But yeah, okay. So yeah, it's still. So here's what I mean. I would call this embossing because the pattern is lifted off of the base layer of clay. I would call this debossing because the base layer of clay, the image is pushed down in. However, the details within, I would almost call this embossed because of the way that's got the lift to it. But even still, I think this is still going to be called embossing. So this is debossing. That's embossing. But here's why you can't, you just have to really look at stuff if you have something in mind. And to be honest, most of the time, it really doesn't matter if you don't have something in mind. You just pick one or the other, and you can usually find some way to make it work. Um, if I am up in the air, I grab embossing. If I don't have a plan or something worked out already, it's embossing. But it's not uncommon at all for me to go for debossing, especially when working with Umegani. So, like this one, Kumegani wise, you could actually just slice that whole mandala off if you had a really good hand. I don't often have that good of a hand, so I wouldn't try. There's a hair in there, but irrelevant. Too many dogs in this house. Oh, my laundry's done. I wonder if my oven's still yelling at me because I have not been paying enough attention to find out. Alrighty, let's one more. And this one, I love this one. This one also makes great makumegane. So this is debossing. Ta-da! This is another one that would be nice if I managed to make the matching cutter for it because he's pretty. Although probably could just use a circle cutter. It's slightly taller than it is long, so it might be one if you rolled it a little more like intentionally forward with your pressure. You get a little bit rounder, but it is really pretty. Camera. So this is the debossing version. And then again, kind of the difference between what I make for the deep impression, which are these blue rollers, and what I make for the intricate detail, which are the lavender rollers, is the blue rollers are very much two-dimensional for the most part. So there's top and bottom layer, and most of the details go all the way top and bottom. I have these sitting here to test out. So this is Dia de Flores, which is really common and popular. But you can see how many of those details, like a lot of those leaves, aren't all the way full depth. So it just gives you a lot more to work with. But it's not something I'll use for Makumigani very often because a lot of the details will get lost in Makumigani. And then this one's brand new. I can't remember what I labeled it. But I love those little flowers. Those came out really pretty. So those should come out really nice. So these are both tiny double tall rollers. So will be a lot deeper if you order them in extra large or jumbo. Jumbo on Dia de Flores, great. It just puts like humongous flowers out. And they've just got really good depth to them. If I remember correctly, I was on the last mandala. So this is embossing in mandala. And again, when this collection goes live, it is going to be labeled as, actually, it might be live already, to be honest. It will be labeled as Mandala Mandala collection. So plate it inside, roll back, and roll forward. That's the best way to get your information all the way to the outer edge without losing. There. Here. And I guess I could build myself a cutter that's actually square instead of slightly rounded. But this is what I'm using for cutting those out. And for pendants and stuff, I wanted that little bit, just that kind of slightly more elegant shape to it. But that is giving me a little trouble when it comes to doing these because all of a sudden it's not quite the same. So I have oh, I do have enough of these to do all of them. Awesome. Okay, so that's that one set done. So yeah, these will be available in collections of 4 in the double tall, the tiny double tall, which should be pretty cool. Paper, that's what I was looking for. Maybe this one. And then I'll have to work to keep these straight because this one's brand new. I think it's lacy flowers, lace flowers, something like that. But little floral lacy majigs. But the point of this whole collection was just all kinds of funky, swirly, geometric-y kind of setups. So that's what I pulled together for this collection. And I'm definitely open to any feedback on collections, whether you guys like them to be similar like this, or if you want wider variety. That is so pretty. So I'm calling this debossing, and I think I would agree. Yes. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think so. But man, what a pretty background. It's a really good one for backgrounds. So this, I'm just going to have to guess where my halfway point is. I think it was here and here. Because now I'm too repetitive and I'm not going to be able to tell where one thing starts and the next thing ends. Yeah, super, super, super pretty. All right. And it's so funny. My phone keeps timing out. It takes me exactly as long as it takes my phone to time out to switch rollers. So I leave the camera open, and when I go to grab it, it's already timed out. Lift it out of my way. And I think I might do a couple little cuts of these and do a all together sample photo. Where I'm at. Another thing you can do too is you can just roll, use a sponge and just roll it through a damp sponge. Works very well too. Did I burnish that down? I don't think I did. Maybe I did. I don't remember. Burnish isn't necessary, but it helps. Back roll, forward roll. This one is embossing. And yes, I agree. That is embossing. There. There. That might be half a flower too big, but I don't think so. I think I'm getting it right. There you go. Yep, that's a good one. So this one has not been listed on the site before. This is brand new for this collection because I had 3 together, and I was like, "Ooh, what makes a good 4th one?" So apparently this one does. Actually, this is brand new to the website too. No, this is Swirls. This one. I don't remember what that one's named. I will by the time I get all my paperwork done because all my photos edited. And I have no idea where the start and stop is on this one. Just roll and call it whatever. I think that is right here. Yeah, so technically that lines up with that square image. Slicey, slashy, dashy. Oh yes. And photograph. Oh look, I got it getting done quicker. So this is debossing. Still makes a neat background pattern. And again, if you want your glazes and stuff to pool in the right places, that's what to use. However, I think this will look a lot better in embossing. And again, debossing in Kumegane, if you want those main swirls to be pressed in so that your top color goes in, then that's the one to use. But you can also just stack your clays. So that's the thing about this line in particular is you can just stack your clays the opposite order and get the same aspect whether you're embossing or debossing. Holy smokes! That is a deep roller. Looks like there and there. So many patterns I've made in the last almost 2 years. I think we're right about our 2-year anniversary. I just realized that. It all started because I was making beads for dog show leads and then decided I wanted to be able to make jewelry too. And then I decided I wanted to be able to make a, oh, it was absurd. Oh, I wanted the cutters for the papillon silhouette. That's what I wanted. So this right here, this is why I learned how to program 3D models and use a 3D printer, because I wanted a papillon-shaped cutter, and nobody could do it for me. So I decided to do it myself, which is how I get into all sorts of trouble in life. I try to do everything myself. Sometimes it's for the best, sometimes it's a headache, but I will take it. Yeah, that's epic. And like I said, you throw this into some mukunagane and you just get your colors and you should have nice crisp lines. That's really pretty. That one's awesome. And this next one I'm super in love with too. Alrighty. Some swirly whirlies. Down. And let you. Towel's getting soaked over here. Hear it running wet. I don't know if you guys could hear that too, but I could. Go back and push forward. So again, this is debossing. That probably make pointed square. Maybe I'm one short. I don't know. Yeah, somehow I think I ended up one short on that, but it is what it is. Aww. I might have to redo that on my own time so that my photograph is what I expect it to be, because that's not quite square. But I don't have another sample piece to cut out or prepped and ready, so I don't want to put you guys through having to listen to the pasta machine because that thing gets loud. You and you. Don't need to be there. You need it. And let me center you a little better. Push you down. Another one that's hugely deep. That is awesome. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We keep 3 in the middle and 4. Okay, so that's. I was one short on the other one. But yeah, this one, and get its picture before I start playing with it. And the Rottweiler's getting his training work done. Dad's such a good Rottweiler dad. Alright, so this, I think that one I must not have pressed as hard. Squiggles. Squiggles and swirls. That's what I think it was. So definitely way more haphazard on squiggles. Yeah, both just very pretty backgrounds. Okay, keep things in order. Lose track of what I'm doing. We'll compare at the end. Note to self: stop being ADD. Contain it for just 2 more minutes. I don't know, maybe 10 more minutes. Still need to go eat my lunch. That will help with the ADD, but one of those things of house was quiet-ish. Figured it was important to press record and just get going. Because we waited out too long, the house will go to mayhem again. All right, and where's this one cut? That probably here and here. Looks like a good stop point. And I'm definitely putting more pressure on my right hand than my left. There's a few that are like that. But it is what it is. Hmm. Why are you dropping shadows on everything? You usually switch lenses and stuff with the shadows. Better. And one that. Oh, I'll get lost. Burnish. In the home stretch. Brain knows it and it's like, oh, check out what's the next project. And any of the rest of you guys like that? 3 steps ahead on everything you're doing. Unable to just stay put. Mentally and physically. All right, I'm going to go right there, right there. It should be square on that. So yeah, my man got himself a Rottweiler puppy, and we've been taking him to a club where he's learning how to do all the real Rottweiler stuff. So he gets to do obedience work, tracking work, and a little bit of bite work. It's been interesting. It's been really cool watching the brain develop on him and how much he enjoys doing the work he was bred to do. It's super, super cool. And what's really neat about the bite work, which fascinates the heck out of me, is essentially the version that we're engaged in is where the whole goal is just to get the sleeve off the guy's arm. So it's essentially barking at a person to give him a squeaky toy and then biting onto the squeaky toy and playing tug until he is released and gets it, or until you tell him to drop it. Just fascinating. It's definitely different than how I'm used to training my show dogs, but it's definitely been an interesting experience. Okay, so I want all of the debossing. I'm going to try to keep these in order. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go. Actually, might make a better picture than quartering them, maybe. Or at least it will line up with all the square pictures I'm already doing. So we'll do it like that. And then I will go ahead and quarter them. That lets us compare them. And one less zoom. Tell I'm seeing shadows or smudges on my screen. I hope the lenses are clean enough. Take that picture one more time just for the heck of it. Oh, there's not wanting to listen immediately. Yeah, he's all of 10 months old, so he's just a cute little handful. All right, so squiggles, swirls, Kaleidoswirl. That's what this one is. is. That's Kaleidoswirl. So it's got like this really cool kaleidoscopic patterning. And then this was lace flowers, I think, or lace flowers. Flowery lace. Flowery lace. I think that's what I named it, was flowery lace. Because I already have lacy flowers. So that one's flowery lace. Yep. So yeah, I think it's a neat collection of background type, filler type images. So yeah, I'm very impressed with that. I have another pile. Pull together the debossing mandalas too. Rottweiler's giving daddy hell. He's such a cute puppy though. He's a very good boy. He tries so hard to do all the good boy things. Definitely has more of that desire than any of my papillons. Squarest cut edge so they'll line up well. There you go. And yeah. So those are all the mandala ones. So these are all the embossing rollers. That's all the embossing rollers. And that's how that turns out. So that is how I label them. I try to describe it as well as I can on the website and such. Can't see this whole thing in one sitting, but if I do that, you can. So yep, mandalas, and then swirls or swirly. I don't remember which. But yep, very cool. And then all the rest of them are here, and I need to photograph that for myself. Okay, so this is the embossing of all of those. Sorry, debossing of all of those. So again, they just have a slightly different usefulness to. No yelling at Havoc for being Havoc. Papillon thinks he needs to be murdered. Pretty sure murder should happen. Oh man, I just dropped the thing I didn't want to drop on the ground. Thought I had that set someplace safe, but apparently, like everything you put somewhere safe, it's not so safe. Alright, so this is debossing versus embossing. I said in a lot of cases, almost doesn't matter. And here, that's debossing, which is some pretty patterning. I still like it a lot. But the embossing is definitely the more obvious patterning. And then, oh, I said I'd show you guys what just fell on the floor. All set aside. Out of the way. And only blank piece picked up some garbage, so that's not too bad. That's the fattest thing on here. All right, so this was swirls. So playing with swirls and Makumegane, and it was debossing because the orange is obviously the top color. So that pressed that all down in there, and then this is all the scrap from the cutouts, and then that's just another segment of it. Can't remember. Oh, I did the. This is the tiny, and this is the small. So that's tiny double tall. You can see how the pattern's just a little more compressed, a little smaller. I think what happened here is I put the tiny into this, and I just wasn't getting deep enough, so I stretched some more out. I don't remember exactly what I did, but I think it might have been small over tiny because I wasn't getting enough depression. And like I said, that's all just the scrap pieces. And then did I do? Oh, I did a log for beads. I'm not putting that back up there where it can fall on the floor again. Ha! I have a bead log too. So took a section of. Actually, that's what the small one was. The little half one is what was left from wrapping a core. So those should make really pretty beads. And I happen to be wearing something beaded. I forgot all about that. So yeah, so these are Makumegane beads, where I just wrap whatever my patterning is around the log, and then these I cut out, kind of flatten the log and cut it and poke holes in it, and yeah, and then these are just the jelly roll, rolled long, taken long ways, chopped into equal segments, and then just kind of pulled the edges in, rounded them up, put a hole in the middle, and then just started slicing, just took the knife and just sliced back to expose the color. Guys, that's enough. So that's how those were made. Yeah, been having fun with bracelets and stuff. Oh, actually, here's something we probably could play with. I think, am I ready to cut that up? Or any of these would work too. Let me do that real quick for you guys. So I have these rolled out. And the thing I wanted to play with, all this stuff aside. Yes, I do have another unused tile. I'm going to use the bronze ones of those. I forgot I had a project I wanted to try. I might as well try it while you guys are hanging out with me. If anyone's hanging out with me. You guys are chatting. My chat isn't reading, so I guess I could check on the phone. All right, so I won't. Where's my cream? I had a cream over here. That's pretty light cream. I have that cream. I'm going over dark brown core beads. So that might do it. Oh, bad baby boy. Yeah, that should do it. Is that the same as this? Nope, that's not metallic. That's metallic. Oh, there's this too. I think, actually, it's gonna take a minute to condition. That's what I was thinking. So this one it is. That feels like that'll just pull right up. Okay, so you guys don't have to listen to the pasta machine for long. Hopefully, put it back where it can fall down. This is not a good idea. I want to try something. Oh. That's all that tiny little piece gave me. And I decided, oh, which one did I decide on? Flowery lace. That's what I wanted. I think I'm going to use the littler. Listen, little bad dog. So, embossing. I'm going to do it in a littler one because it's going on a tiny bead. So I want the smallest I have. And I think that that will be plenty deep. Make sure you're extra wet because your cracks and crevices are tinier. All right. And then I need to lay you down. So yeah, I baked those cords up last night because I had this idea in mind I wanted to try, and I almost forgot. So let's in lots of deep pressure. Definitely trying to get too much deep pressure. So when you do that, sometimes you can back off of it. And that's going to take playing. Oh no, nope, nope, we're getting it. Come on. Just gently, gently, gently pick it and ask it to come out. This is why we wet, and this is why we don't get overexcited and press too hard. Okay. You are in timeout. I got almost none of that. And okay. Problem solved. Crisis averted. Yeah, that's never a fun feeling. Okay, don't press so hard next time. Be gentle. I want a little knife. And the best place to cut from. You know what I'm actually going to do? Put you there. Oh, I'm going to take that piece and practice from you because my goal is exactly that. Oh, sorry guys. Goal was to just lift off just the little flower. And then we're going to lift you off of here. And then I do think, actually, I'm just going to, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put you on a piece of plasticky stuff because that is not very catchy at all. Give me a little. I want the. I think I want the size. It'll just. Yep, there we go. So it doesn't actually fit into there, so that'll give me a little bit of hold, so I can hold it firmly. And I want some liquid clay. So that's said translucent at some point. And translucent, clear, whatever. Okay. Put a little dollop of fortunately, I have wet paper towel to try anything to clean any messes up with. Right on there, please. And just want to coat all of you with the sticky. And why not tappy tappy it? And probably leave a little texture if parts don't get covered. All right, clean the finger. Find my little scrap piece. And then remove the dog hair from it. Ah, no, come back. And just lay you on gently. Somehow along the way, you lost a little of your shape. But still, that's kind of fun. All right, stick that in a roller to keep it elevated. And let's try to get a bigger piece of this off. Still might be better off. Just close the door. There we go. That's supposed to be centered. Already liking that. That's kind of fun. This pattern should be a little bit more. Not sure how much sound travels. Something on the TV though. All right, that's all scrappiness. All right, so I'm thinking do that. Kind of think I want to grab a whole new bead. Another thick. One more that stick. I'm gonna do one more like this. I'm gonna try to get that whole piece off in one go and see how good I can do it. Oh, I closed my container. Catch and clean and upside. So, let's see where I'm storing those. I'm in my rollers. I didn't even put that one away, did I? Oh, I'm a dork. Okay, so let's see if I can't manage to get you off all in one go. Shimmy. Come on. Okay. Oh, I lost some of it. 3 out of 4 is pretty darn good. There. Oh, we needed that too. Let's see. That is a I'm not sure where you belong, but we're gonna guess there. And see if we can't grab you and say, come on up here. Oh, no, 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 come on. Give me something pokey, little and pokey. Okay, should be slideable because everything's all wet. There we go. More that way. There we go. Just roll it a little bit on my hand. Very, very, very gently. There's no pressure whatsoever. I'm just letting it lay onto my hand and roll. Just trying to keep a bead shape. And then, once that bakes up a little, yeah, that came out perfect. How awesome is that? All right, so then I shouldn't play with colorizing it until it's baked. In the oven with that. These I need to get set up so I can print these also. So these are high temp resin, which will handle the temperature of baking oven. So I made little rack holder thingies. Lost half of mine, and I don't have spare printers set up to just run high temp resin. So I need to get that set up. But then I can do a few bakeable things, which are really cool. I have a bunch of stuff already made up for like bracelet blanks and stuff like that, and then some more ideas on the table. Do I want to try one more, or should we wipe you off and start with something else? Let's try something else and peel you off. So what was the other? Oh, I was going to try mandala. See if I can't get a mandala on one of these two. All the color on. Okay. That's all good and sticky. Yeah. All right. So do I want to use this color again, or what else do I have floating around over here? I guess that'll work again. Yeah, nothing else is quite bright enough. Well, that's bright, but I still think it's a little dark for putting on the brown. So yeah, let's just use this again. I'm just not going to put that sticky piece in. The downside is this is a little wet. You know what? No, I'm going to let it dry. You know what? That might be light enough. Yeah, why not? Different idea than what I was planning, but let's try this too. Ready? Don't even ask me what the color is. I have no idea. Both of these are just mixed up. I don't know what. I'm assuming it's like purple and copper. I am pretty sure that's what this is. Something to that effect. Mandala, mandala, mandala. I want this big. Yeah, I think I do. I don't think I want to go to the smaller one. I did just burnish that down, right? I think I remember doing it. We'll do it again just for the heck of it. Oh yeah. And I want as much of this as possible. So here's going to be the thing here. Those are all individual pieces. This might not work. Yeah, I didn't think that through enough because those are all individual pieces. So unless I, you know what? Let's try a thing. I'm just making up something on the fly. I have no idea if this will work or not. I'm going to burnish that into this slightly in the hopes that they will stay on the plastic once I cut it away. I need this to not move very much, so I just need something to kind of secure it a little. Go away. Let's go wide, flexi blade. Just a little wiggle, wiggle. Oops, some of that I ended up getting completely. Oops, okay. Oh, that's as far as we got. That works. We just made up something new and cool. Oh, looky there. Oh my god. That's heaven. Oh, yeah, this is a good metallic. So that is mica shift. Let's see how much of that pattern is left in there just because the mica particles get messed with. That's really pretty too. That would totally be usable for something also. Yeah, this is a good Mukumegane stamp. Or roller. Okay, so I'm thinking what we want to do is essentially whale. That's the best oops ever. I want to feel something in there because I have like this little bitty scrap. Okay, so if anyone wants to know what that plastic is that just made magic happen, because oh my god, it's just the 2 millimeter baggies that I keep on hand. I don't have any more rollers sitting out like this. Just 2 millimeter little Ziploc baggies that I keep on hand for all my rollers. As I'm selling rollers, whatever as I package stuff, those are the bags I use. So when I need plastic to wrap and use cutters through so that I get my domed edges, I just cut one up and use it for that. And I happen to have one sitting here and it just made magic. Holy smokes. I want this over white though, not the brown. Oh man. I might have to make a whole pile of these. These are amazing. Holy smokies. Okay. I'm going to release you and put you on a normal size. There we go. That's the size that you guys actually fit on. And these are not heat proof. They might be able to tolerate the oven, but they're not technically high temp, so I don't try. It's pretty on brown, but I think it'll be prettier on white. So now the issue with this one is that didn't cut through all the way, but that did. I can still steal those too. Might be worth just trying again, or I could just wrap that on brown for now. Yeah, I'll do one more on brown because right, now that this is a thing, I put a little pile of that there because I have a feeling I'm going to be doing a few of these. Back in your holder. Yeah, let's stay on brown, I guess. Especially for the center of this. Don't forget. tea. All right, I guess I kind of have to start from this end and take it off little by little. All right, now we have to. Ew, eek. Well, I guess you get to just keep it all, huh? All right, you get to keep it all. I'm just gonna double up. Yeah, like I said, you don't get. So I am a wee bit tempted. That one's great as is because it stands out against the brown. This one doesn't. So I am a slight bit tempted to. Oh, those are really cool. Grab myself a little mica powder to brighten that up anyway because I was already saying it's a little dark and oh, I still need to drill these. Oh, another thing I've made. Bead driller fuller thingy-majiggy. So that cups beads in and then you just drill through. Yeah. More stuff I need to get listed on the website. Okay, what was I doing? Oh, mica powder. Almost thinking something fun and iridescent-ish. No, those are chameleon flakes. What have I got up here? I still have projects laying around everywhere. Um, these were new samples I got. Oh, yeah, that's what these are. Let's try one of these. So these, what the heck is her name? The Blue Bottle Tree Lady. Ginger, I think her name is. I think these were the mica powders she was all in love with. So, oh, sorry. That was in front of the thing. So I'm thinking because we're on brown, that'll brighten that up a little bit. That would brighten it up a good bit. Ah, what other options? Oh my goodness, I have so many options. These were a little pricey for what I. Oh, okay. Remember correctly, these were a touch pricey for how little I got, but as tiny an amount of mica powder as I used for anything, I think they were like $1 or two, or something like that. But kind of was expecting just a little bit more. I think these came from somewhere else, and there we go. These were $1 a bag for a 5 gram bag. Those were like $1.50 for a smaller bag. But I have not gone anywhere near through all of those, so I can store these easier. So I'm not going to complain. All right, so let's just sample. I kind of want to see how this extra glittery works. So very, very carefully. I don't want to overly mix it in, so I just tap my finger into the bag and just touchy, 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 touchy. Okay, winner, winner. Not even going to try anything else. That's awesome. Tap it down onto here so I can get a little better spread on my fingers. So hopefully I don't get into any of the grooves. I just want a light layer on highlighted areas. I can put a little bit more down. Fortunately, that's double thick, so I need to yourself a little bit there. Okay. I do still want to get the top and bottom now a little bit better. Just a tiny bit more bead shaped. All right. Let's see. Is this bead roller plate? I've shown this before, but in case you guys haven't seen, this is how I made these beads to begin with, is my little bead roller plates. So thinking I think that's still enough detail, and that brings it in a little more cut. I think just some more cut. There we go. That's the right shape. That's much better. Okay. And then I think, well, actually, I don't think I am going to take those off. I think I'm going to let that creep over the, no, it just looks a little unfinished. It has a bezel. It kind of needs to keep its bezel. Perfect. Okay. Spin, 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 spin. Anyone else have a grandpa who could peel an apple in one strip like that? I thought it was the coolest thing ever. He was amazing. I'll just put a little one more over this. Just a little more pressure just on the edges and not in the middle. There we go. Okay, I think you look good. Do you want the glittery thing too? I think so. Come here, Smoky Mauve. Let's put just the teensiest, littlest bits of glitterness to that one too. Just to make sure it pops off the brown. Sparkles always make a win. All right, and then we'll give you just the tiniest little roll. Just bring those edges in. Maintain no beady shape. Okay. I have a feeling you'll just snap off once we, yeah. So those edges are pressed in on the metal enough that I have a feeling that once they're done baking, they'll just pop off. Yeah, I think it'll be easier just to get it pop off. Okay. So, see if I can manage to glitter. Whoops. I had to pick the glittery one, didn't I? Oh god, it's everywhere. Oh no, it's everywhere. It's already all over everything. Oh no, it's the worst idea ever. Whose bad idea was this? Put you all away. Go away. All right, that's enough of that. Oh, it's everywhere. Oh my god. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and roll this back up and do that all over again. I'll keep these guys floating around so I can finish off because I want to try that purple over the white without the glitter. I don't think it needs it. I'm not saying it's not pretty, but I don't think it needs it. All right, so these go on one stick, not two. And that can get set in the oven. And I can still get it back. Okay. It's hot. Do you need anything? I can swap you out for less than hot sticker. We go on the less hot pokey sticker. Okay. So yeah, that came out really good. what I'm thinking is, and the original plan was that I want to do antique this. So I'm going to find my fun stains and glazes, and I think we're just gonna go with my brown stain, which was what I was planning on using. This is the original plan. This is fancy, cool new idea. Pain to get mixed back up if they've been sitting, and they're always sitting. I do not use these that much. So far, I've been impressed because they're acrylic-esque. They seem to actually set into the clay really well. So far, I've been very impressed by how easy it's been to uh, bake, just kind of bake it in, and it stays put really good. Although now that I'm working this hot, I'm going to have to be very quick to get the excess off. I want to make sure it's in everything. Come back here. At being in a hurry failed me ever so slightly because now some of this doesn't want to come off. That's way better. Okay, and now if I want to make that come off, it's time to replace that. Okay, refining the plan here. You need your lid back on. Okay, okay. And yeah, so that absolutely makes a rather gorgeous little. So yes, that worked. That's a win. That came out exactly as I was hoping it would. Stain idea is very good. You just need to get better at placing it. But again, if I use the method with the sticky where I cut my strip the size that I want, and yeah, oh, it's all coming together. You probably even use double sided, like not double sided, but like painter's tape. That painter's tape would work really good for that too, but you can't see through it to make sure you're cutting the exact right depth. So yeah, I think I'm going to call it a day. I'm probably going to play around with this for a while, but you guys have been hanging out with me long enough. I think I don't even know where do I find how long we've been streaming because I don't know. I don't have notifications. Doesn't say. Maybe it does. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. Oh gosh. All right. Well, I guess I will call it a day. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with what we made and the way stuff came out. And those beads will come out of the oven looking exactly like they went in. So those should be absolutely beautiful. And I'll probably play around with that on some white clay because I think it's going to be epic. But I hope you guys all have a good one. Happy crafting all.